Yes,
Yes. Hello.
great. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you and welcome for this Pathways to Resilience Innovation Practice Group on Knowledge and Data. This is the last one of our week, so thank you so much for being here. When we wait until everybody connects, I want to just to give you a quick reminder of the technical considerations for today. So please, related to the audio management, keep your microphones muted when you're not speaking. And of course, you can unmute to contribute. Just double check your audio levels. And please turn your cameras. We would love to see you and to be engaging in the session. And of course, when you want to engage and to ask any questions or participate, please raise your hand. Or also you can use the reactions in Zoom, that reactions, that option you have at the bottom. And of course, you can comment or do questions using the chat. And last but not least, please rename yourself so we know who is with us today and also where you're coming from, so you can put the name of your region or organization next to your name. So let's jump to today's agenda. Today, I will give you a brief introduction of what are these innovation practice groups, maybe because I think we have a lot of new people joining us today and maybe you are not familiarized with the IPGs. And then we will go directly to present the Sanliurfa region in Turkey, this very interesting case study that we are going to be discussing. And we have the honor also today to count on some Climax project experts that are with us, and they are going to be also sharing their insights with us. And then we will have a moment for the Q&A and also to the peer learning exchange, where you will be able to ask questions to the speakers, to the experts, and exchange also on your experiences. And we will finish with some takeaways and a quick survey. So I would like to introduce you a bit on what are the Pathways to Resilience Innovation Practice Groups. These groups were thought to be learning and knowledge sharing groups guided by regional challenges and needs. So, we give the chance to each of the P2R regions to share their experiences and also to learn from others. So pretty much the objective is to connect regions with sources of knowledge and expertise, to create communities on innovation adaptation practitioners across Europe, like all of you today. This is a kind of a community of practitioners, and to provide knowledge and exchange opportunities, highlighting successful existing solutions, or just exchanging knowledge on the enabling conditions that we are working actually in the Pathways to Resilience. One of that one is knowledge and data. And also, create new plans and ideas. The idea is that you can learn and take inputs from others' regions' stories and experiences, so you can apply that to your own region or organization. And the idea is to gain a wider view of the regional challenges as well. So where we are at, this is the third week of IPGs that we have organized along the year. And then we will organize one more along with the cohort 2 of regions that are going to be joining the project next year. So we are happy that we went through all this way. And for today, we are going to be using a Miro or Miro board. I don't know if you are familiarized with this tool. I'm going to be explaining how we are going to be using it later on. But pretty much here, what we are going to be doing is sharing with you the session content. We are going to be uploading there the presentation. Also some resources, for instance, some templates, reports, region case studies. You can find there some information that may be useful for you related to the topic and other more like broad tools and resources. And then we will be uploading here all the presentations and documents that the speakers share along the 3 weeks of IPGs we have already organized. So Today, as you know, we are going to be discussing about this particular enabling condition, which is knowledge and data. And we are going to be featuring particularly the case of Sanliurfa. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it very well. So now I have the honor to present the speakers from the region that are going to be joining us today. Let's start with Hakan Duman. Hakan is an engineer and certified project manager with extensive expertise in EU-funded climate resilience and innovation projects. He serves as the project manager for the Sanliurfa Climax and Pathways to Resilience initiative, where he coordinates all the climate risk assessments, adaptation planning, and multi-stakeholder engagement. So welcome, Hakan. Then we will also have the honor to count on the presence of Tamer Atalay. Tamer is an environmental engineer and climate change consultant with 35 years of experience, primarily in the automotive sector and municipal services. And he's the founder of Atalay Climate Consulting and currently serves as the technical lead for the Sanliurfa Climax and P2R projects. And last but not least, we also count on Mehmet Demir today. He's an environmental engineer and head of the Climate Change and Zero Waste Department of Sanliurfa Metropolitan Municipality. He has worked extensively on climate change planning in local government, solid waste management, and environmental consultancy. So before handing over to them, I would like to briefly share with you what we are going to be doing in the Miro board. Let me know if you can see now my screen with the Miro of the day. It's working?
It's working.
Great. So Paloma, if you can share the link on the chat. Sorry, I'm not checking the chat if you have already done so. So this is the tool I was introducing to you before. And pretty much here, what we're going to do is first, as I see, we have a lot of people today in this room. So thank you for that. But we would like to know who is joining and from where are you joining from. So I invite you to pick a stick here in the check-in section, where you can write your name, your surname, and maybe add the name of your organization and put it on the map, like on the region or country you are joining from. Then, as I was mentioning, we are already here presenting with you, sharing with you the presentation and also the Climate Project website. And I would like to briefly share what we are going to do here in the expert plenary discussion. You will see this square in gray on the left. The idea is that you hear, of course, the case to the presenters, and you start sharing here some insights, some questions, and also specify to whom your question is. So then when we finish the presentation, then we can address your questions and your comments and start this exchange of knowledge and discussion. And then in the right part of the Miro, what you can find there is are some of the questions that the Sanliurfa region already shared with us that were included in the email, an invitation email, because the idea is also that based on what we will learn from the region, also give them some feedback on some of the issues they are struggling with, and try to cooperate also and share your own experiences on how to deal with these issues based on your own experiences. So with that said, I will stop sharing and I will hand over to you, Hakan. So you can already share your screen. Great. We can see it.
I think, right. First of all, I would like to thank Mariana for your great support and patience with us during the preparation of this session. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Fulya and Çağlar for accepting to participate in the session as experts. It's a pleasure to join today's Innovation Practice Group and to share our experience from Şanlıurfa. located in southeastern Turkey and one of the hottest regions, and I believe the hottest among all pet-based resilience beneficiaries. My name is Hakan Duman, and I am the project manager for Şanlıurfa's Climax and Pet-based resilience project. Together with my colleague Tamer Atalay, our technical lead, we will show how we are using quantitative climate risk data. I will begin with a short introduction, and Tamer will take you through the technical part. Şanlıurfa is a part of Mesopotamia. You can find this name in almost every history book. It is known as the land between both rivers, where different cultures have lived for more than 12,000 years because of water and fertile soil, mainly. But during the last 10-20 years, we feel the effects of heat and drought much more clearly. The average temperature, as you know, keeps rising. And now, today, our lives are more active. People go to work, children go to school, everyone moves around the city. Even walking from home to the bus stop or waiting at the bus stop in summer has become very difficult. These changes affect daily life, and that is why we started to look at data to understand how big the problem is and what we can do. Without the Climax funding, to be honest, and support, it would not have been possible for us to start this kind of detailed analysis. On this slide, you will see many numbers, but I will just highlight the most important ones. Şanlıurfa is a very large province, almost half the size of the Netherlands, with 270-kilometer border with Syria. Because of that, we have hosted nearly 400,000 refugees for many years, but thanks to the recent stability in Syria, this number is now slowly decreasing. Our total population is around 2.2 million, and about the half of them live in the city center. We have very limited urban green space, only 4.6 square meters per person, which is far below the European average. And our GDP per capita is below 4,500 euros, which brings several challenges. In many parts of the city, unfortunately, some of the families cannot afford, for example, air conditioning. And low GDP also means it is not easy to find or keep expert climate scientists in local administration. This is why projects like Climax and Pet-based resilience are so important for us. I will just add one recommendation here. I also saw that Christopher, Climax expert, is also with us. These tools are very powerful, but they should be made as user-friendly as possible, so that municipal employees can use them directly without needing deep technical and programming expertise. When we look at the climate data, we see that our challenge is clear. We experience around 130 heat stress days per year, the highest, I guess, among all pet-based resilience regions. And that means that for more than 1/3 of the year, people live under extreme heat. Let me show you how that looks in real life. This headline is from 26th July in this year, when temperature exceeded 40 degrees Celsius in 30 provinces across Turkey. And Şanlıurfa recorded the highest. So it is not only Şanlıurfa, but it's a common problem. As you can see in the photo, some citizens found their own affordable solutions to cool down. It is a bit of a funny image, but also very real. It shows how heat has become part of daily life here. And this was exactly our motivation to go deeper. So I will hand over to my colleague Tamer Atalay.
Thank you, Hakan. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Yeah, it's loading. We can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You can move the slide. This is the other one and the other one.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, right.
I can continue. What? Let me start with our past activities that we have performed last 5 years. Şanlıurfa is committed to global common of mayors by setting a vision as net zero and climate resilient Şanlıurfa by 2050. Every year we prepare our greenhouse gas inventories by using GPC protocol and series tools. We perform qualitative risk assessment and qualitative risk and vulnerability assessment by using some surveys related to hazard assessment, vulnerable sectors, and adaptive capacity, and so also taking considering the past events. Those qualitative risk assessments, it's okay, but they can give us the magnitude of the hazard, but they cannot give information about the location, geographic location, where and when these hazards are occurred. So thanks to climate methodology, we applied quantitative data-based analysis to see the locations or the projections of these hazards. We perform stakeholder engagement meetings every year to get their opinions or evaluate the progress. We prepared our climate change action plan in 2022, and we revised last year. Annually, top management review. We perform according to CDP-Cities program, and our last year's scores was A-, with climate leadership. Of course, we upgrade our knowledge methodology by use of perpetual resilience tools. I'll continue with how we perform climate risk exploration. Here we have a methodology defined actually in the global common of mayors common reporting framework. We take into account the likelihood of the climate hazard and also the magnitude of the climate hazard. As you see, we clearly prioritize the main hazards as heat wave, agricultural drought, soil degradation, and heavy rainfall. We also perform sectoral vulnerability analysis. In this case, we take into account also the adaptation capacity of those sectors. You see the criteria, evaluation criteria in the table below. Here we understand which sectors are mostly vulnerable and highly exposed to heat wave hazards. Those analysis give us the magnitude of the hazard, but we need more quantitative analysis. In this case, we apply Climax workflows. Here, the risk in the Climax defined as with the three constituents with climate hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. In the climate, you can see you can reach all workflows with the handbook with very clear explanations, definitions, and methodology. Not only for heat waves, but also drought, wildfire, heavy rainfall, also floods, and you can understand all these workflows. And actually, these workflows is a Python notebook, Python code, but those notebooks are not sacred text. I mean, they are always open to move. So you can download the most recent version of these workflows in the GitHub Climax sites. One thing I should remind, all these workflows are open source, and every region can reach these, can download these workflows and apply to evaluate quantitative regions climate risks. In the climate heat wave workflow, there are two types of assessment. One is hazard assessment, and the other one is risk assessment. In the hazard assessment, there are two types of methodology. One Euro-heat, and the other one X-climb. Euro-heat methodology take into account the apparent temperature. That means you need to you should take into account both temperature and the humidity. You don't need to set any threshold. Automatically 19 percentiles take into account, and it's only valid for the Eurocordex domain. And the workflow automatically download the data from Copernicus data store. Unfortunately, Şanlıurfa is out of Eurocordex. Therefore, we applied the other workflow for hazard assessment is X-climb. X-climb, on the other hand, is user-defined. Absolute temperature threshold should be defined. And in this case, we will evaluate the projections with the scenarios, medium scenarios, RCP 4.5, and for RCP 8.5 for the pessimistic scenarios. Here, the results of our analysis, as you see in the graph right side, Şanlıurfa's duration, heat wave days durations will increase 25%, exceeding, reaching 200 days per year. Okay. In this case, those are the hazard assessment, but we need to analyze the locations of the hazard. In this case, we make a risk assessment. In the risk assessment, we need two different set of data. One is exposure data. It is land surface temperature data. The other one is vulnerable population density data. For the land surface temperature, in the workflow, a data source is defined, which is Landsat 8 satellite images. When you go this site, easily you can see a map and you can navigate your region, draw a polygon or rectangle to define the area of your region. Then you will download, you will set some periods, temporal period in a summer season, for example, June to August. So you can download the images, and then you can download these images and locate the related directory as a zip file, and that's it for this site. And the other one is the vulnerable population density. In this case, the data sources work for the area. Here you may select age and gender, your country, and geotipe as a file format, and you will download a file with the age groups. You can select any age groups as a vulnerable population. For example, you may select females higher than 65 or etc. Everything you can select to define the mostly vulnerable population group. Then you can download the data. With these two data, when you run the workflow, you will get such a two maps. For one is LCT, the other for vulnerable population density. You can see the Şanlıurfa city center in the right left side, overheated area, the LCT land surface temperature data. Here we think that we can upgrade, we can improve this, because as the Landsat 8 satellite only gives us daytime images. But we know that in the daytime, in the Şanlıurfa, everywhere is very high temperature, exceeding 60 degrees Celsius. Then you cannot distinguish, you cannot compare, you cannot separate where the regions are highly exposed. In this case, we think that we can take out night vision, maybe. In this case, we search another data source, and we found as from the Terra Aster satellite. Here, we download the images, and you can see the comparison between the Aster and the Landsat. Aster is the left side, Landsat is the right side. Here, in the daytime, you can see that daily maximum land surface temperatures exceeding 60 degrees. But in the nighttime, the temperature is about 36, maximum is 36 degrees Celsius. And you clearly see the heat island effect. So this is the LCT, I mean the overall exposure data from the LCT, from the Landsat, sorry, Aster satellites. And so in this case, we have two different set of maps, but we need overall risk. So we need to combine these two set of data with a matrix, as you see in this methodology. So when we combine these two data source, we produce overall risk. Here you can see the Landsat 8 daytime overall risk. We start to compare the higher risk neighborhoods, very highly exposed neighborhoods in the right side when we compare this map with the geographic maps. And this is the Aster nighttime risk maps. Here we can, I think, this methodologies gives us more suitable, more clear identification of highly exposed regions in our city. And but using Aster satellite is quite complex because Aster, in the Aster data set, we need to convert the LCT units from Kelvin to degrees Celsius, but it is just an additional simple code we need. Then you can download this type of data set, may be suitable, or maybe we can improve the workflow in this. So as we said, our green area in the city center is only 4.6 meters square per capita. And we set a target to increase the green area up to 9 meters square per capita by 2030 to 2035. So in this case, we should analyze how we improve this area. So as we understand the neighborhoods exposed mostly, so we analyze the green areas in those areas and also the vulnerable population living there. So then we make an analysis we understand that we need to increase additional 130 hectares of green area. Actual green areas only 52 hectares, but we need additional area in this analysis. As I said, in our sustainable energy and climate action planning, we defined our strategies, objectives, and targets. One of the objectives is our and one of the overall action is increasing the urban green land up to international standards. Now, I will stop here and we give the floor to come back to Hakan to give some information about our recent progress and our short-term projects. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Now I share my screen one more time. So just a second. Just a second. Yeah. Okay, just a second. No, I think it works. Now let's come back to the city itself. As you can see in this video, there is almost no space left in the city center. The urban area is very dense and most available land is already used. So when we think about how to increase green space, one of the only option is to reuse existing areas, especially old building or governmental buildings that can be demolished and transformed into small parks or green areas. In the next few slides, you will see some quick before and examples. For example, the old metropolitan municipality before and after, some old buildings also before and after, and governmental building also before and after, and also beyond the city center, we are all planning larger green areas. For example, new urban forests along the irrigation canals. Urban forests are now very common across Turkey. Almost every big city has one or more, and Şanlıurfa is following this direction as well. Our own urban forest project is already ongoing. And because the city center is already full, we are also planning a new satellite city, which will host about 100,000 residents, designed from the beginning with green infrastructure and climate-friendly planning. Next steps and challenges. As part of the Pathways to Resilience project, we have now established our working groups, bringing together local institutions, universities, and other stakeholders. We already started online meetings to discuss possible adaptation options based on the findings from our climate analysis. Our next goal is to prepare, of course, the Pathways to Resilience deliverables to the regional reports, which we will complete by the end of April 2026. These reports will include feedback and input from our stakeholders and will help define the next concrete steps for Şanlıurfa's climate adaptation journey. So this is our presentation. It is Friday afternoon. Thank you very much for listening. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Hakan. Really, yeah, I really congratulate you on all this because it's amazing all the analysis you have done and all the information you already get to then plan the next steps, right? So thank you for that. I would like now to move into our plenary discussion with the experts. Today we have the honor to count with the presence of Fulya Kandemir and Kaglar Tukel, which are members of the Climax project, which was the project that helped the region to put together all this knowledge, all this data, all this information. So welcome, Fulya and Kaglar. I will stop sharing so we can see your faces. And also, I invite our P2R colleagues to also participate. And we already hear the perspective from the region. I would like to hear now the perspective from the project itself. How did you manage to work together to collect all this information? How was the process? Any insights you would like to share so other regions that are joining us today can also learn from the process, the great process you have been through. I don't know who would like to take the floor first. I'm seeing Kaglar, and maybe we can...
Yeah, I will give a positive discrimination to Fulya.
Fulya, we will try to pin her.
If she's not available, I can go first.
No, actually, I guess
Yeah.
this positive opportunity for me from Chalar. Thank you so much
Right.
first. I guess, or I hope you can hear me. I am Dr. Fulya Kandemir from Antalya Metropolitan Municipality. I'm also working in Chief Scientist and Team Leader of Climax of Antalya in Antalya Metropolitan Municipality Climate Change and Zero Waste Department. We're working together with the high crowded team actually with data sets
Actually,
from ECMWF
Sorry,
and
Fulya.
Copernicus Data Store.
Sorry,
First,
Fulya, you are getting cut a little bit. Can you repeat that last part?
oh,
maybe
okay, I can't repeat.
Or-
Maybe because of my internet connection. Sorry for that.
maybe if you turn off
Please
your camera,
warn me if
it
you
works
have
better.
some.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
Paloma.
can do it. Yes, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah,
Can you hear me
much
clearly?
better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Because of sometimes an internet connection can be lost, and I can repeat my words again. Actually, when we started to Climax project, first of all, we tried to deal with the data sets. We have some data sets from Copernicus Data Store, some models also, and our focus workflow is about the heat wave. We decided to focus only one phenomenon in Jupiter Hub, also Climax initiative, because just like Şanlıurfa, we are facing with extreme temperature events in our city. We are located in the southern part of Turkey, in the Mediterranean basin. We're located just like Şanlıurfa and us, and the other cities just like Mediterranean basin, and we are facing multiple disasters, climate disasters at the same time. But heat wave means everything for the city. This is just like the disaster. Now we are focusing all of the aspects of heat wave in this Climax platform, not only the data sets, but the first priority was about the data. First of all, we did this actually with Climax initiative. We tried to use Jupiter Hub with our internal experts, because I said before, we are so crowded team in Antalya Metropolitan Municipality from different departments, not only climate change department. We're working with geographical information systems department, disaster management department together. Actually, Climax provided this ecosystem for us. First of all, we gathered all of the departments, related departments for the data sets. And then we integrated, first of all, the European data sets to our platform workflow. Now we're working about our meteorological data sets from Turkey for Antalya. And also, maybe I can say one more thing. IPCC always has some suggestions about multi-ensemble models. Now we're working about this in Climax platform because it's providing for us. Now we are using United States data sets, GCMs and also RCMs, and Australian data sets to integrate to our workflows. And then actually we're waiting for the outputs because we can say so many things for Antalya, for the future of the city, for the action plans. Actually, I can say as a summary of our gathering first departments, then dealing with the data, and now for the multi-ensemble models.
Wonderful. Thank you, Fulia, from your insight and your input on the project. Kagler, do you want to jump in as well?
Sure. I think I can show a couple of slides to you, if it is okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's pictures words 1,000 words, right? So, okay, let me share.
Yeah, let us know if you can share your screen.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
I
loading.
think it's visible.
Yeah, great.
Okay, thank you, and hi everybody, and good afternoon. So, as Fulya said, we are also part of Climax project. And Izmir is no short of any kind of like extreme events. So we had droughts, we have intense rainfall, flooding, storms, coastal flooding, heat waves, wildfires, and this year especially we affected by wildfires a lot. So droughts, and even tornado, which is something that we never heard about, okay, in the city. So we now start seeing about it. So it's like a climate urgency is not far off, so it is here to stay. And we have CCAP. So in the CCAP we have risk and vulnerability analysis, but it is verbally prepared, but doesn't have any kind of location-based spatial analysis. So what we needed was a spatial location-based risk assessment. So that's what we started this Climax project. So it's going to be like 3 phases. In the first phase, we're going to have the whole province. So you didn't put Turkey's map on the mirror, but I can show you. Okay, Izmir is on the west part of the country in Turkey. So in the first phase, we are going to have the full province, which is like a 12,000 square kilometers. It's a very big city in terms of land space, also in terms of population. So it's very difficult to make very high detailed analysis. So in the second phase, we are going to use Konak. Konak is the center region. It's a district, very densely populated, and it has affected by a lot of circumstances as well. So in the we are currently in phase 2. So at the end of this year, we are going to be finishing this part. And the last part, we are going to have a more detailed and location-based adaptation and resilience plan. So I told about this already. So what we have done, so we started collecting the data as well as all the studies. Okay, so because there's a lot of studies have been done around, so we collected all of them. So and also, as Fulya said, we are also collecting spatial data, which is very difficult to find. So we are using some of the state's data as well as some of the local data, and some of the data was locked in silos, in the department. So we have to find out where they are and then bring them here. Still, we are currently collecting data. Okay, so it's like it has been an ongoing process for us. Okay, so one of the good things about this kind of project is to explore what data city has. So we have a inventory of the data, which was good. Another thing is we have a very good stakeholder plan. So we already asked them, okay, what they know and what's going on their part as well. Tamer also already mentioned about this. Risk is a function of hazards, exposure, and vulnerability. Okay, so I'm just skipping this one. So initial results is similar to what the Urfa made. So we had data from satellite data, and luckily we have our city's part is included in the satellite data. So we have heat islands or overheated areas, and this is a part of Izmir. So this is center part, and it's very close to what Tamer already shown. And these are the densely populated areas. Okay, so when we superimpose the densely populated area with the exposed overheated areas, we get risk. So in this case, like we are going to now collecting more data about who are going to get affected on this area. So we will have more neighborhood level, or even street by street kind of level of data after this one. Another was, which was, I think, Urfa is lucky about this. They don't have coastal flooding. So we will have coastal flooding a lot. And so we have also location based risk analysis for this. So we have also river flooding, which is different than coastal flooding and it's affected by different factors. So we will have like where the areas are going to get affected. So we will have the building data, what kind of buildings are there, and we will have, as you see the map on the right, and you'll see what kind of buildings will get affected. Okay, so we will put also the population data on the top of this, and also infrastructure, so we will know where it's going to get hit. So we will have more accurate data driven risk analysis for these parts. We will have also a drought analysis. You know, Izmir is the metropolitan area, but there is also the rural part. And there is farmers over there. So, and we will use loss of certain products. So, and we know what kind of products is being grown, and then how much they lose after the droughts. So all in all, this is in the still preliminary situation. So we are going to get better results, you know, if we are going to continue this kind of events. So I will be showing better maps, you know, after the new year. Well, that's all from my side, and you know, I will be happy to answer if you have further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kayla. Super interesting. Wondering if this information is already available to be shared?
Not yet, actually. The first part, you know, some of the maps that I've shown is already, you know, in the phase 1. So it's available. But the second part, these are you know, the initial maps we are. So we are going to improve these maps a lot than this one. But still, you know, I can share this one, you know, as an example.
Maybe we can add at least it's already available in the Miro, so everybody can have it at hand and take a look, because I think it's quite useful information for everybody going through the same kind of issues or climate issues in the regions.
Sure.
Let me know if you can see my screen, because on sake of time, I would like to address some of the questions that were already raised on the chat. I know that Hakan, you already addressed some, but maybe so we are all on the same page, and we can also hear more about. If you want, I can read the questions, and all the speakers, you can raise your hand, and well, you decide who address each of them. So the first one is related to the density of the city and its difficulty to find places to park. And for instance, could vertical green work in your case? It's a possibility. So Hakan, I know you answered, but maybe you can also share with everybody what you are thinking about that kind of solution.
Yeah. First of all, it's an important question for us. I already contacted Verbund Netherlands, because I knew them from Pathways to Resilience, and they have experience. We have to admit that our region does not have this experience. Therefore, it is why we are here. We want to cooperate and communicate, and therefore it can be an option. But we do not have. Even we spoke with the stakeholders. We do not have an exact plan. Therefore, we will communicate with the experienced institutions. So it will be great if we can have a meeting with Klimaatverbond Netherlands to see the best practice from their side.
Yeah, exactly. It could be one of a solution, actually. And maybe based on other regions' experience, you can learn from that and see if that's feasible in your region as well. So yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Melanie, for raising this. Then there is a question related to what about different type of nature-based solutions, like any plans, strategies related particularly to nature-based solutions, and also what about surrounding landscape, like it is related with cross landscape impact analysis, so it could be a good solution to look into nature-based solutions or hybrid coming outside this dense urban landscape. Yeah, this was right from Katharina. So I think also, Hakan, you already replied to this one, but maybe if you can share what are your plans on this.
During the communication with the stakeholders, for example, we spot the shaded bus stops, bazaars, for example. Also, we applied for the sponge coal with a mulch-based water saving solution. But I am not climate expert. I think Fulya, Çağlar, and Tamer can say more about this.
Yeah, maybe I can add some of the things we are doing here is one of the part of the project is to have urban gardens. Okay, so with the food getting food is really getting problem because of the droughts, and also the economy is not doing well at the moment. So. And what we are doing urban to convert some of the open areas to urban gardens, okay, and the people from the neighborhoods, usually the women and the children, they come, and then we give them like a education, some training about how they can grow their own food, and we supply the seeds and all the necessary agricultural needs, and they grow themselves. So after that, whatever they produce from that particular parts is going to, they can take it to home, and then do whatever they do. Even they can sell. So, but only women and children can work at the urban garden or community garden, we should say. It's also like a useful area, so that we turn that area something valuable, and also it's also good to decrease the urban heat islands as well.
Thank you, Kaglar. Anybody else would like to contribute here with some ideas?
Maybe I can.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can add one more thing to Çağlar's mentionings and also Hakan's mentionings. Urban garden is very important, actually, solution to integrate the citizens to this actually actions in the city. He said that urban gardens can be possible, and Antalya has this solution. Actually, we have bigger urban parks in the city. This is distributed to the city, and we are working about the urban agricultural areas. We are calling as Turkish Bostan. We settled in this big urban parks. Now the citizens can involve themselves to these parks, and they can produce their crops in these areas. Not only children and women, also higher than 65, the older people can include themselves, because they are retired and they need something to do in the city, and this is so open to them. Also, one more thing about the urban heat island impact. Urban heat island impact needs so simple solutions, actually. Now we are working about this. At end of November, we will do a workshop about climax stakeholder engagement. Now we decided how many stakeholders included in Antalya about urban heat island and heat wave impacts, actually. During this workshop, we decided for the simple actions, for suggestion from the citizens or stakeholders. For example, our Parks and Gardens department, before climax, they decided adjust their tree canopies in the streets. Now they're adjusting the tree canopies just like the umbrella. In the hottest day, the citizens can walk in the streets so easily. When the heat wave hit, they can protect themselves during at the outdoor when, for example, walking or painting the roofs white, for example. This is so simple. So solutions not so complicated. Only you should create a plan, basic plan, to act immediately and climax the data I said before. Integration the data sets, just like the fundamental of the action plan, I can say. This is just like now, maybe Şanlıurfa and İzmir can say this. We are part of the local climate action plans also under the climate law of Turkey. Now we should do so many things because of this local climate action plan. I said before, data is the fundamental, and the action plans or local climate action plans can be pioneer of the cities to do the simple things.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, super interesting. Definitely local action, I think, will save us. I have here...
Sorry, I would like to add one more
sure.
thing. Yes, in Şanlıurfa, as for other cities, İzmir and also, very crowded and very dense urbanization, so much buildings in the city center, and this is the most important challenge. Yes, we have to increase the green land, but it's not easy to make this to reach this target. So we think that we can transform some part of the old city to the the other sites as a satellite city with a sustainable manner, and we try to realize one example in Şanlıurfa in the midterm. In this case, we can open some area and to make to increase green areas. I mean, this is a challenge and it's a big project, but it will be helpful to reorganize the city center. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamer. Well, the good thing is that at least there are a lot of things that could be done. So it's a matter of put ourselves at work, and of course getting the funding and organizing with stakeholders and so on. I know it's harsh, but would be worth it. I have one last question, what I think it's interesting from Micaela. It's for all the...
Mariana, could
Yes.
just contribute also to the discussion before you go into the...
Yeah, of course.
question?
Sorry.
So,
I didn't see your hand.
Sorry, no problem. So Oscar Higuera from YASA, supporting also pathways to resilience. And this is for Şanlıurfa's representative. So just to share some insights from science, academic literature so far, which can be helpful for your adaptation efforts, as you demonstrated, and also regarding the nature-based solutions. So, for example, in China and Korea, researchers are exploring the cooling effects of bushes and shrubs in the streets, and as alternative to, for example, to trees or parks that combat heat island effects. And their findings indicate that in some instances, these although there are smaller plants, and if you look at the individual level, this smaller plant has less cooling effect than a tree, but because they can be aggregated in the space and easily located across, for example, these densities, when you look at the aggregated impact, in some cases it's even higher than, for example, lineal parks or normal parks within the cities. So that is just to put it on the table, like if you can look at it. And there is another, not less as positive, but a bit more cautionary recommendation from also the academic literature to an issue that is emerging and is known as climate gentrification. And this is a phenomenon referred to cities, for example, these new developments that are safer and more resilient, and tend to for example, this new city that you're proposing is good. I'm not saying it's not good, but they are not addressing the underlying cause of risk, the underlying vulnerability. So probably these new developments will favor like not the vulnerable groups, but other population. And instead they can create a rebound effect in Sanliurfa. So it's good for to cope with this with the problem, but also it's an emerging concern. So what literature says is you are bringing more people exposed to the heat stream risk, and it has to be cautious. So it's just some two recommendations that it came to my mind with the presentation, and yeah, I hope it's helpful for your efforts. Thanks.
Thank you, Oscar. Yeah, it's much welcome. So Oscar also shared on the chat some inspirational examples in the P2R catalog. We will be adding that resource to the Miro board. But yeah, if you can already take a look, of course you can. And now I would like to share my screen again and go maybe with you to discuss what we have for this second slot of the session related to the peer exchange. So as you may receive in the invitation email, the Sanliurfa region already shared with us some questions in which they would like to work on and to learn from other regions. So given that here we have representatives from regions all along Europe, I think it would be interesting to hear also from you. So the Sanliurfa region can collect your knowledge and your own experiences, even if it's a best practice or a failure, doesn't matter. The idea is to learn and to share our experiences. Nobody's judging like, you know, what's the best way. At least the idea is to discover that together in this community. So I will invite you to take some moments and review well, we have 5 questions and then specific calls for peers, like to describe some practices. So I will, if you want, I can read the questions for you while you start inputting, and then we can have this peer-to-peer discussion if you agree. So for instance, one of the things the region would like to know is how other regions are, of course, with limited local data now, they can strengthen their heat wave risk assessments. Like, any of you are already working on this, how you are working on this, that could be the kind of, or what worked well on your region, that could be maybe the input you can share here. Then, so the ones that think that they can already start replying, go. I see some of you already there, that's great. So the second one, yes, sorry, Paloma.
Maybe zoom in so that they really see the questions a bit.
Sorry, let me know, it's better now?
Yeah, I think that's better. I think Perfect.
Yeah, I will read them quickly, but you can start working. So the second one would be, what practical cooling measures work best in hot climate cities with very low summer mobility? For instance, what we were discussing before, right? The vertical gardens, having more green areas in the cities. Would be nice to know what are the measures you are taking here. Then the third would be, how can green spaces targets be integrated into fundable adaptation plans? Maybe that's, yeah, to improve also the projects to be bankable. It would be nice to integrate this perspective. And then what good practices exist for engaging vulnerable groups, refugees, the elderly, low-income residents, and agricultural workers? As you were saying, Fulia, before, like the elderly can also work on the gardens, for instance. We would like to hear from others, like if you are taking any specific measures related to vulnerable groups in your regions, and of course related to heat waves. And the last one is, which occupational health measures are most effective for outdoors agricultural laborers? This is a challenging one, right? Because at least on my knowledge, I don't know many measures. It's quite challenging to address this issue. So also we would like to hear from you if you have any innovative ideas on this. And then the last chart there, you will see if you can at least with bullet points or quickly like list which are your cooling public mobility spaces, like, you know, bus stations, shaded pedestrian routes. What are the kind of measures you are already taking and are working? Then related to citizen engagement strategies under extreme heat or low cost, high impact greening in arid urban centers. Any ideas on that? And as we said before, protecting agricultural workers, you can list also there if you have papers, if you have projects or any case study published or your own websites where we can, you know, check on this kind of best practices or experiences. Would be nice to share so the region can also assess them and maybe implement them. So I'm seeing a lot of you already adding input. This is great. Maybe we can start with the first one. Anybody would like to share out loud what you are inputting here? And so we can discuss it. For instance, yeah, this one in climate risk storylines. Or you want me to read it? I think it's better if you participate and share which are the kind of solutions you have in mind. Anybody would like to jump in?
Yes, I can say something about this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. I added this from a climax perspective, because in climax, of course, we have mainly quantitative risk assessment, but as part of the review that we did about the climate risk assessment frameworks, of course, there are also other approaches, such as qualitative approaches. And one example for such a qualitative approaches would be climate risk storylines, which are not based on specifically on data, but which work in a different way. And I think it's also part of the climax handbook. I can see if I can find a link so that you can also have a look more in more detail.
Thank you, Michaela. Yeah, I think adding here the link would be useful. Then we will populate it a bit. We can organize better. The Miro now is more a brainstorming, but the Miro gonna be open, so everybody will have access in case other regions, other stakeholders will also like to take a look. So thank you for that and for this resource. So let's recap on the question: how can regions with limited local data strengthen heat wave risk assessment? So some others are saying maybe citizen engagement initiatives, leveraging citizen science, neighborhood watchers. Then at municipal level, the input from citizens is important through social media, call center, community centers, So again, this idea of including and taking into account all the stakeholders. Then we have, besides citizen science, there are data from medical sector, firefighters, and agricultures. Okay, interesting. Use data from organizations that work with vulnerable groups. Okay. So, and this one, which is longer, I don't know if who wrote this one would like to share it with us, or I can read it.
I have written about it. It actually adds little more on the question that the city have associated at the end, which could be some citizen engagement practices. And for example, of course, it is related with the citizen science, the leverage of volunteer geographic information. What this means, basically, there can be some community initiatives at any level, for example, also at the neighborhood level, and there would be some coordinations on. I have seen these things around the world working very well, and is very cheap and very easy because everyone has in these days a smartphone, and web apps can be easily also set up with also free design on the internet. So something around this these lines. I wanted to show something on the theoretical side, but also on the practical one, how it can also be applied in practice. Specifically for hazard risk assessments, this can be super helpful, and also this can be done, as someone else added there, in collaboration with emergency managers, electricity providers, and several stakeholders.
Thank you, Katharina. Yeah, definitely the practical point of view here is key. If you can then share any link where we can see these examples in any region or country that you think it's working well, maybe it could be inspiring for the region as well. Wow, so we have lots of comments. This is
Mariana,
great.
I see that Hakan has his hand up. Maybe he
Yes,
wants to
Hakan,
reply
sorry,
to that.
I'm not seeing, so you let me know.
That's okay.
Just a question. I saw the note, besides citizen science, there are data from medical sector. For example, we spoke with the doctors and the hospital managers and health sector experts, but they didn't have any data related with heat waves because they don't put in the system such a differentiation. So I would like to ask what kind of data from medical sector it is possible, because someone wrote it as a note, because we couldn't find this data. So what kind of medical sector data is meant? This is the second comment at the top, the third one, the yellow one.
The yellow, yeah, here, data from medical sector, firefighters, and agriculture.
I wrote a comment. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Nikola Glamuzina. I represent Bosnia and Herzegovina, where we have a PTR project working in Nature Park Huto Blato. We have data from emergency service. For example, the interventions during the heat, during the hot days, when they have many interventions, especially with elderly population and people who have problems with respiratory organs or some problems with heart diseases, for example. And they are very high, especially during those days, you know. So it is like, I don't know, some kind of secondary diagnosis, you know, or when the weather gets very hot, because that vulnerable population, it reacts first, you know.
Thank you.
Also, if I can ask Mr. Hakan, you mentioned a couple of times the stakeholders. I'm interested, can you define the relevant stakeholders in your project?
One more time.
Can you define the relevant stakeholders in your project?
Mainly regarding heat waves, for example, we work with the health Minister of Health in the region, and also academia, and also associations, and also the other departments of the municipality, and I should think, and urban planning department, for example. The participation is, I mean, really high. And Tamara, can you also name other stakeholders?
Well, also the parking department. I mean, gardening and parking department of the municipality is mostly related with the with these, and also as you said, the city planning, and also we talk with the association of the city planners, as mostly deal with these issues. I think those are the most important stakeholders. Okay.
Thank you, Tamer. Yes, so on the sake of time, if you agree, let's move to the second one. I see a lot of great ideas on practical cooling measures. I would read them quickly, and maybe Hakan or Tamer, you can react on if you want more information, or some of them you are not already implementing them, like, well, bushes and shrubs spread across the streets, sun protections like window screens, ventilation options in the houses, reflecting surfaces like painting white in white the houses, cool corridors, what else? Cool roofs, public water fountains. Well, I think here you have a lot of good examples. Maybe what I would ask, because as I said, this is going to be open, if you have any particular best practice in how to use these cooling measures, add the link, so then here our colleagues can check on how they are implementing these measures. Maybe, I don't know if it happened to you, but maybe we can list a lot of ideas, and then when you want to go deeper and see how it's working, it's always inspiring to see examples in other regions, like how they are actually implementing. So all the links or resources you can share are welcome. Yes, Melanie.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a remark on this one, because it's actually quite a big question, what practical cooling measures could work best. Because I think it would be helpful to distinguish between measures that cool like the outside temperature, like the open space around like the houses or in the urban area, and measures that cool down the house. Because we say that's actually the hotspot where most people stay during when it's hot also.
Yeah, so doing this difference between the external measures and the ones at home, basically. Yeah, good point. Okay, so, well, we have, let's say, 5 more minutes. Anybody would like to share the ideas already shared on the Miro, and we can comment on that? For instance, somebody would like to share on the question 3 on how to green spaces targets be integrated into fundable adaptation plans. Here I'm seeing some ideas like rethinking green spaces, evaluation of benefits, use government buildings for greening, involve citizens. Okay, quite a variety. And then for good practices, engaging vulnerable groups. Well, this is as somebody was asking before about the stakeholders, this is another stakeholder to take into consideration, right? So somebody saying they can be integrated, let's say, around climate citizen assemblies. And here is a link to a manual. Can somebody let us know more about this? It's a manual on how to engage vulnerable groups.
Yes, it's me again. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself before. I'm Michaela from the Climax project. I was mainly involved in the framework of the Climax project, and we are currently working on giving the Climax regions also a bit more guidance on how to engage with stakeholders and vulnerable groups, etc. And while we are working on that, I would just like to share this this link, which is from the EEA, which gives a bit of a guidance on how a citizen engagement can be done.
Great, thank you, Michaela. So Hakan, I think you can then take a look to see what ideas you can take out of from there. Then I see somebody's also working on urban by nature, Caucasus. What citizens think about the environment? Any comments on that one in
Yes.
Georgia, right?
Yes. Actually, one can check both links. There is a video explaining this, but there is also another link showing the results. So the something we did, and it applies to data scarce regions. Like best thing to ask to measure the temperature, I think, is to ask people what they feel. And I think in Turkey they will vote well, so that they will say it's hot in summer. So this was very simple survey with 7 simple questions. The people were rating from very bad to satisfactory, good, and very good. So 5, the Likert scale, let's say, and then we averaged it, and you can see the results. Like 1,500 people responded. We used social media, and it cost us $50 at that time. Now it's more expensive. Facebook became more expensive and other social media. But I think municipalities can really do this. It can be set up in half an hour, I promise, for free. So, and if the municipalities regularly make these surveys, particularly before and after implementing some measures, like if you provide a nice garden or bostans in Turkey, I'm sure the people around will be happier with several parameters. So if you would like to repeat this, just get in touch with me, and I will put my contact there, and we can do it for any city.
Thank you, Mamuka. Super interesting. I will take a look to that link. Great. So I guess the last question is the most difficult, right? How to address this outdoor agricultural laborers. So maybe you can take the time after the session to share any thoughts on this. And as we need to wrap up, I would say, yeah, as I said before, this is going to be open, so you can still input with links, with resources, ideas, and share your contacts if you want to. And we will finally ask you to share your feedback here in this square on the left on the session. And the things that can be improved, the things that you like it, and yeah, any kind of thoughts is welcome. And thank you, Paloma. Yeah, then Paloma now is sharing a survey, a quick survey to get your feedback on the session. So please take 2 minutes to reply so we can improve these sessions for next year. And yeah, we will be very grateful.
Yeah, just to say that there's been a lot of sharing today of resources, which is great. I think the feedback coming to the region was very helpful probably for them. I'm not the one who should say this, but I think there was a lot of input, like different resources and so on. And so just a reminder that we're going to keep the Miro board very much alive, so you can always come back to this. We will be following up via email, and you're going to have the Miro link again. And we'll also be sharing the PPT from today. I don't know if maybe, and I'm asking Sandirfa, but if you want to have your contact points in case they want to also maybe share any of the resources that they were mentioning or any feedback, you can also just put the contact details in the chat maybe so that people can save them. But yes, this is just to say we will be following up. You will have the Miro board open in case you want to go back and check, and as well as the recording. And yeah, thank you to everyone for participating. Thank you for the experts, for the speakers, for all the contributions, and to Mariana for hosting today and doing this great moderation. And we hope that you really enjoyed today's session and the IPG weeks, because we are closing the last week of IPGs for this cohort. So hopefully you found it interesting, and we look forward to seeing you perhaps in a future IPG session, but surely for some of our cohort 1 regions in future sessions. Thank you so much,
Paloma. I don't know if have any final comment from the speakers or the experts. On my end, thank you so much. It was super interesting, the presentation, all your insights. And also thank you so much for everybody that participated, because it was a real peer-to-peer exchange. So congrats on that. And really thank you. Well, thank you all. A lot of claps and hearts. Thank you. Well, have all a very good day, and we keep in touch in case you need it. We are here. So thank you so much. Have a very nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.